What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Wealth Not Weed podcast. I'm your host, as always, Joseph Coizza, and today, instead of doing another interview like we did for the last one, an amazing last one that we did, you should go check it out, with Johnny Vinsel, the current owner, or the owner and founder of Ignite Nutrition. I don't know why I said current owner, but owner of Ignite Nutrition, a very good friend of mine and a very good small businessman who's getting his feet off the ground. As he said, he currently is going to be at that location a year now. And has a lot of wonderful insights on his own weight loss journey and his own professional career, building businesses and then doing the financial stuff that we also love to talk about here on the podcasts, and just the show in general. So today we're doing another one of these kind of like not quite to the same degree, as odd as it may be, talking to myself kind of thing, where it's that before I was talking to a very wonderful look into the past of Fat Joey. This is, I have a lot of audio recordings that I plan to release or have released as audio content. I'm very big in audio content. It's kind of how I started making content. I used to have a podcast with a friend of mine. Again, as you guys know, I talked about it before a little bit. It didn't work out. This was way back when. This was before I even graduated high school. It just didn't really roll out the way I wanted it to, and it was more of like a fun thing, and it ended up costing a lot of money to run and do that. I didn't know as much as I did now. So now I'm in a better position, but then it cost money and it became less fun to do it, more just like a chore. So we ended up stopped doing it after a few episodes. But now I have audio content. I've been making audio content for Wealth Not Weed for quite a while. Some of this even before, I'd say maybe even way before the restaurant closed. Some of it I know I made during the closure of the restaurant. So it may get a little emotional from past Joey at some point. It may get to the point where he shares different views than I do. It may be talking about going through something difficult that I'm no longer going through or have gotten through. And it's going to be wonderful and great to share some insight with everything on that. And just get my reaction now. I mean, I know it's not too far in the past, but I was in a much different position then and during these recordings, or at least a lot of these, than I am now. So seeing how I've grown and changed as a person in just a few short years, or maybe even a year, less than a year potentially, it's just going to be an interesting experience, especially now because everybody records content, everything puts things on Instagram, Snapchat, all this. So it's kind of like a take a look back throughout the years kind of thing. And it may also, because a lot of this I also haven't shared, it may also give you some great advice, give you some perspective on things. It may help you make decisions both with your finances and your weight, or just maybe life in general. So I feel like this would be very beneficial to anybody who's in a tough position or got out of a tough position or just wants to know more about me or what do we do here, or of course has an interest in weight loss and finances. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to click on the thing that says thoughts. There's a little bit here. So let's see. Let's try this one. I may click out of it. I don't know. But we'll see how it works. There's a problem playing this audio file. Of course, there was.
One eternity later. 2 eternity later.
Now, I like to say I didn't listen to any of these beforehand. I don't know if I made that clear. So this is going to be a real reaction, just kind of seeing and getting my audio thoughts. So, if it wants to play. When I started to really get serious about my finances was what really mattered to me. I'm watching a video right now, and this is what kind of made me think of it, and I had to stop it. It was a video about cars. Like I was never really into cars until I'd say probably about eighth grade, summer in 8th grade going into 9th. And then I was like, hey, I'm gonna start driving soon. And then immediately I fell in love with cars. Cars are like, that's like one of my vices is cars.
As you guys know, I got a Corvette.
Drive a nice car for a reasonable price, I'll do it.
Yep.
But the issue is, I kind of had a hard time realizing what really matters in life. I thought that success was fancy watches and nice cars, which two things I admittedly like, but it's not what really matters in life. And finding out about my finances and looking at people who have money, people who have money and who like cars will go out and buy nice cars. People who have money and just buy nice cars because it's a symbol status usually don't have money for long. And what matters now to me is, and what my goal is, I want to be financially free. I want to be independent. There's a movement called FIRE, where it's financially independent, retire early, I believe is the acronym. And that's still something that I am very passionate about today. Obviously, I want to be financially free and not be indentured to a job, or indentured. I don't know what's going on with me today. I want to be a slave to a job. I want to be a slave to anybody for a financial situation. I know a lot of people who are both older than me, younger than me, the same age as me, all types of age groups, all types of living situations, but they feel they can't go anywhere because of the financial situation that they either put themselves in, or that they end up winding up in, coming out of, leaving home or coming out of college, or whatever situation that they went that wasn't directly like their doing to begin with. A lot of people leave home when they're younger, and now they have to be at a job, because if not, they don't have any support, they don't have any money, they're not in a good situation to leave if they're not happy with their job. And they may hate their job. A lot of people I know who are in that situation do end up hating their job, matter of fact, but they're there because it just pays the most of a minimum wage job, and they're just trying to work their way through college, just work their way through life. And it's an unfortunate situation, but I don't want to be in that situation. In the same token, someone who's more aligned like with me, who maybe has the support of their parents, they don't have to leave home right away. But they put themselves in negative financial situations. They take out car loans. They don't invest anything. They don't have a strong understanding of budgeting. They don't know what's truly important to them in life. And they're just like, oh, this looks cute, let me go buy it. That is also something that I want to avoid by not spending money frivolously and having a big financial kind of revelation in this whole, movement that I've accustomed to myself, and then also learning about, not saying I'm a part of the movement, but movement within myself, was within who I am as a person, has set me up on that path. That freedom is what's so important to me. And as I talked about in the last video with Johnny, and I talk about almost with any one of my financial videos, is that the freedom of finances and the freedom to do what I want in life is one of the most, if not the most important thing to me, along with my family, my health, my friends, things along those lines, but like a personal goal for mine. I have a magic number in mind, and once I hit that magic number, I know then that's it. I could live reasonably comfortable with me and my family for the rest of my life. That's it. If I have a wife and kids, me and them can live reasonably comfortable for the rest of our lives. Nothing crazy, nothing, bad, but something reasonable that's just like, this is an average life. Now, I don't want to live an average life, and I would like to get much bigger than that number, but the freedom is what drives it. The money is not just the goal, it's the freedom is the goal. Money is one of the ways I do that. That's why I build a business, is I want to help people. And the freedom in the aspect of owning my own business, it gives me the freedom to do what I feel is important and do what I do on my time. Not meaning I have to hang out with my friends all the time and sit around doing nothing, but meaning that I do what I do because I feel it's important, because I want to do it. And the same token, also then, once it grows and begins to build, we'll hopefully then have enough money to allow me that financial freedom and know, okay, cool, I don't have to go Uber on weeknights if I don't want to, but we're getting close to that series, and I do enjoy it. Not always, but I do enjoy it for the most part. But I don't have to do that then if I don't want to. I don't have to go out and do this. I don't have to go out and do that. I am very deliberate now with my time, and I don't do things I don't want to do, because the freedom is what's extraordinarily important, and having that money as a tool to do the things I want and have that freedom is what's still very important to me. Moving beyond that, though, I want to leave this world better than where I got brought into it. If money wasn't a factor, and to some degree, money is, like I said, the tool. The main goal is freedom. The main goal is helping people. The main goal is doing what I want to do in life. Living a healthy and happy life, being around people I love and care about, bettering the people I love and I care about. Those are the main goal. Here, I feel that money was the primary goal, because then I felt I could go do what I want. But that's a step. Money is the step. Okay, you have money, now go do what you want. What is it that you want to do what you want? What is it that you want to do? And what I want to do are those things, have freedom, help people, genuinely make this world a better place. And that's what I want to do. That's my genuine goal. That's always really what my goal has been, even whether I realized it or not. That is what it is, and that's, my purpose. I feel that very strongly about that. And money is a stepping stone to that. It's the tool. If you replace money with hammers, and hammers could do the same thing, I'd be going after hammers in order to achieve that goal. If money wasn't a factor and it was just something, that's what I would be doing. So that's kind of interesting to see how I was growing from that point. And it's essentially people who, they work, they're smart with their finances, and they retire, and I use the word air quotes. I know you can't see, but they retire, there you go, air quotes, air quote. And they talk about being able to do whatever the fuck they want without having to worry about the cost of it. Yeah. And
yeah, that's basically
it's something that
that's the gist of it.
Really affects me now looking back on it, and I want to be able to spend time with my family. I want to grow and have a family. I want to be able to travel the world. I love travel. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to have things that I like and live comfortable. And I'm not focused primarily on the big fucking house and the fancy mansion. I think a 3-bedroom house at a reasonable age, that's pretty good. That's like a dream home. I could have like maybe a little game room with me and my friends and my kids can hang out in. Stuff like that. And maybe my priorities will change, but I doubt it. Drive a nice between now and then. They don't change too much. I mean, I'm a big movie person, so instead of like a game room, maybe like a movie theater type thing, or like a movie room instead of like a game room, but something like that. Yeah, basically, something reasonable that I enjoy. I mean, obviously, if I got a mansion for an amazing price, then I guess so. But if looking for it, I don't look for something the biggest and the baddest and this and that. I look for something I'm going to genuinely enjoy. Something that if I'm spending my money on it, I'm getting the value that I want for it. And or infinitely more value than what I'm paying for it is the kind of goal for it. I want something that I'm generally going to enjoy, not just something because it looks cool, because it's the biggest or the most expensive. It's something I'm generally going to use and enjoy. Nice, sensible car, maybe. Got Gigi. Have something like an earlier model Corvette. It's not really sensible, but that's like my dream car. It was like I mean, we'll like a 2005 to like 2010 Corvette, somewhere in there. Even now, that's still like 15 years old. But if I could drive that, and afford that would be awesome. That's like, that's quick, it's cool, it's nice, it's got, modern features, but still has a classic look to it. And that's something I kind of realized, and I feel like, I mean, not everybody will be the same as me, but when I decked out the money, I put in a super strong alarm system because I didn't want anybody fucking with it. It's like a $4,000 car. Nobody's gonna fuck with it. Even if it's nice, you could have done with a moderately good alarm system. I need settings upon settings upon settings. And I gotta get the little remote out and show you guys. I need all these fucking super features and be able to see it from space. It's not a Ferrari. Even Ferraris. I remember, and I'm still proud of that. But I remember sitting there saying to myself that, I have a nicer security system than most supercars do. A Ferrari or a Lambo or a Bugatti or anything like that. I had a nicer security system by leaps and bounds compared to what they had. And I'm still very proud of that, but I didn't need that on that kind of car. It's not like it's not like a fucking $100,000 car or $200,000 or $1 million car. It's it's a couple $1,000 car with some nice stuff in it. An alarm system, something moderate is good to protect it. And then I had a touchscreen, and touchscreen was it could play music and it could fucking GPS, and it was a Pioneer, and it was a really nice fucking touchscreen. But something similar to it and comparable for what I used it for could have been just like a couple $100. I didn't need to go out and spend the $1,200 fucking super Pioneer brand on it, and this is the fucking head model, and it's the best thing and since sliced. I didn't need all those features. And AirPlay and CarPlay. I didn't need all that. I need something that told me the fucking time. I need something that played music. Was touchscreen and colorful to match what I was going for. And had navigation. That's all I really needed for it. I mean, and that's even still adding some kind of wants, and that's only like a couple $100. Like a $200-300 model would have served me just fine. Maybe even a little more expensive, or something like just $200 or $300 model might have been better if I would have got something with a better sound system to it. Even though the one I had was phenomenal. The windows were shaking on the car over me. It was great. But you could do something like that, and I didn't need the best of the best, but that's what I did. And then, I mean, the car ended up fucking killing itself when I was driving for Uber anyway. I used the features every now and then. The car was in the shop half the time, and then I was driving for Uber and I didn't end up using it. Now I like to use my cars. I need to use my Vet a little bit more. Matter of fact, it needs to get a bath. I need to wash it. Maybe after this video, if not tomorrow, I'm definitely going to be doing that. But yeah, that's, I came to my senses a lot more, and I realized I didn't need all that. So that's also why I went an older vehicle. It's because I could fix it better. It's got better parts. It's stuff I could do myself and that I enjoy. I generally enjoy the classic kind of stuff. The only thing I would need is like a little tape deck to put in and plug my phone in. And guess what? Now I got GPS and I got fucking music all from my phone. I don't need anything super special. You don't need to be able to see it from space. It's something that makes me happy and I enjoy driving. And then if I want to listen to music, I can listen to music. But most of the time I just enjoy the sound of the engine and a nice cruise. And that's really what I like now, And I don't think and that's the stuff I liked back then, but I think I've grown as a person.
I like watches, but I'm not going out spending, $30 grand on a watch.
It's true, I still would.
I like
Rolexes and stuff. They're cool looking, but I'm not gonna go out and spend money just for a fucking status symbol. You know, I'd rather have a Guess watch I spent $100 on, and I've had that for 5 years. I wear it almost every single day, and I fucking love the thing to death. The things I own. I have an Invicta watch I spent probably about $800 on. I don't know if it's worth that now or not. I don't, you know, but at the time it was probably about the most expensive watch purchase I had. And regardless of that, no matter how crazy and cool the watches are, no matter what type of watch I got, even the watch I wrote about in the book that I found, the watch I wear the most and have gotten the most compliments on is the little gold watch. I'm sure you guys have seen it in this video. I'll probably put up a picture of it. The little gold watch I bought for like $30 off Amazon. It's an 80s looking Casio watch. Little digital watch. I think it lasts me forever. I wear it to work. I wear it every time I work. I wear it out all the time. It's a nice, cool little watch. And I've gotten more compliments on that than any one of my crazy cool watches. Everybody will be like, oh yeah, what's that? Oh, that's really super fucking cool. Oh, that's nice. But just in general, that watch, oh, that's really cool. I like that. Oh, hey, I had a watch just like that when I was younger. And I would get so many compliments and conversations based on that watch. I wouldn't even know it. And it cost me $30. Less than $30. It was $27 or something like that. And it was just, you know, it's a simple, cheap, older model watch. That was it. And I got the most compliments, and it's something I enjoy and often wear the most comparably, because you can't wear a giant fucking super nice watch to work. One, I mean, you're worried about somebody trying to fucking hit you over the head and steal it from you. And then two, it's gonna get all fucked up. So you can wear probably a nicer watch to work, but you can't wear the fucking nicest thing you own. So, of course, the nice little watch that I didn't spend too much money on, that's the one I get the compliments on, obviously, oddly enough, the most. A strong and, you know, sustainable watch, but the thing is absolutely beautiful, and I love it. I spent $100. I love that watch. I gotta get a new battery in it. In fact, I wore it all the time. And when I started to really make money, most of what I wear, save money, at present, if I took, you know, all my money and I decided, okay, you know what, I want to get a car, and I decided to liquidate all my money, I could get the car I wanted. I didn't have to do that, and I still got the car I wanted. I also found a better car, something more I liked. I looked and searched for a while, and I found a great deal, and I went out and I got it, and it was with money I saved up, and I didn't have to liquidate it, and that would have been stupid to do something like that. I'm sure I understood that, but I'm giving it for instance. I saved up, and I was able to purchase it for an extraordinarily great price. All because I took the time, I knew what I wanted, and I took the time to research it and find it. And then along with saving up and building and budgeting and all that, and I'm happy I did that. I think that was the best way for me to do it. I could get, you know, whatchamacallit, I could get the Corvette. And I don't do that because I want to be able to have money for the future. I want to be able to save and invest that money, because I know in the long term, the investment and the peace of mind I'll have to be able to one day sit down with my kids, or travel the world, or take my family on vacations, or just enjoy life where I have to worry about where my next paycheck is from. Far surpasses that of the enjoyment I will get from spending every single penny I have on a car. And that's something I wish on to a lot of people, and that's something I try and teach a lot of people, is, you know, if you can afford it, yeah, you want it, then okay, yeah, you can get it. But there's a big difference between affording it and thinking you can afford it.
That's true.
If you have to go out and finance a vehicle, and you put 5% down, and then you're paying the thing off for fucking, you know, 3-4 years, you can't afford it.
That's true.
That's not affording it. That's you putting yourself in debt to have something that you're going to have momentarily. Affording it is, say I had $1 million in the bank, and I went and I took, you know, 15 grand out and bought the next car, that car that I always wanted. That's being able to afford it, and then using it and enjoying it, and not having to worry about, oh my God, if I get a flat tire, I'm not going to be able to make rent. That's what affording it is. And now I realize that, and now I understand my priorities a little better. And that all came from having a strong understanding now of not only the value of a dollar, but having a strong understanding of investing in finances. Yeah, I think that's the end of that video, that audio clip, and it's really so the case. I know a lot of people who, like I said before, they'll be in debt, and they'll get cars that they really don't need. You don't need to go out and spend a crazy amount of money, but they're like, I want to have something with the cool lights. I want to do. Why? What's the point of that? When it all breaks, and it fucking inevitably will in 6 months. If it's a used car, it's going to fucking shit out on you eventually. What the fuck are you doing that for? You get a reasonably priced vehicle, you know, maybe less now than before, but I know people before will pay 4 or 5 times what they need to for a car that's 4 or 5 times what they need. Why? It's you and like maybe 2 other people drive around. Why do you need this huge fucking car? It's you or 2 other people drive to and from work. Why do you need something crazy? It's you and maybe 2 other people listening to music. You just need something with a decent stereo and a fucking, a nice radio. That's it. That's all you need. You don't need this, like what I got before, the super fucking touchscreen sound, blaring bass thing. Especially when you don't need it. I have a friend who loves, kitting out his car and he listens to music often and it fucking, shakes, same kind of thing, shakes the windows of the car next to you. But that's his passion. That's what he loves. That's why he did it. If it's just something just, oh yeah, it's kind of cool, why are you spending all that money for it? You don't need to spend 20 grand on a car. You get a little used vehicle, maybe install a new radio, put $1,000 worth in upgrades, but you get something used and reasonable for 8 grand. Even if you got something for half, 10 grand, and then 11 grand once it's all done. You're still saving 9 grand. Especially then when you have to put a large down payment on stuff. I know people who got cars they didn't need, got taken for a ride, put down less of a down payment than they needed, but still liquidated all their money to put down that down payment, and is paying a ridiculously high interest rate. That's more people than I would like to admit that I know. It's very unfortunate that and I don't blame the fact. I blame the fact that they're not educated in finance to that degree. I'm not saying that they're stupid or they're morons or anything like that. I'm saying they made a stupid decision because they didn't know any better. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that they didn't go through and learn and do something like this. And I understand that's why they made the decision. But even after coaching them or talking to them or saying, hey, this is something I think was really great, or maybe that you feel, people I understand have different priorities, but they'll go out and they'll make the decision and then regret it. I think that's important, is making a decision you're not going to regret. A decision that, when you look at those options, you're like, this isn't going to weigh me down long term. Go out and try new things and do stuff and this, that. That's something completely different. When you're making a financial decision about buying something, don't sit there and buy something and just be like, oh, I just like it because it's kind of cool. Does it bring you genuine joy? That should be the main decision. Or does it serve the function you're trying to serve? Does it bring you long-term genuine joy or hopefully serve the function it's trying to serve? For a car like my Corvette, it does both for me, especially for the price I paid for it. And if even still, with the amount of work, I'd probably sell it and make money, if not break even on what I purchased it for right now. Especially now in this fucking crazy market, everybody's going after older cars. I could probably sell it for double what I paid for it. It's not, something insane where it's like, oh, I'm buying this 6 months from now, it breaks down, I don't have enough money to pay for it. I put all my money in this vehicle. Well, then you shouldn't have bought that vehicle because it's more than what you need. And yeah, that's kind of the way I feel for it. And that's something I started to feel there. And I was very passionate and very happy about it. And I'm still very passionate and happy about it, which I think is great. I think it's important to talk about stress and worrying about things. Even though we talk about, real quick, I'm also going to final up. I realized what I was trying to say that I kind of forgot earlier. I also realized I didn't have to wait to be financially free to do things that I enjoy now, today. And I shouldn't wait till I was financially free to do things that I enjoy now, today. Life is very short. And I know that's kind of a contradiction to some of the things I say before. Life is very short when you don't do what you love. Life is very long when you do what you love, try new things, and generally try to enjoy life. I understand some people have a hard time, well, you can't have both the good and the bad. You can with this. One of the few things I'll kind of put out there and say that for. If you don't know what you want to do in your life and you're someone my age or younger, you have all the time in the world to try new things, try what you love, give everything a shot, and just see where it leads you. You have all the time in the world to do that. But that doesn't mean squander that time, because if you squander that time quickly goes away. Living with regret takes up more time than happiness does. Okay, you could have the best time of your life and you could do so much with your life if you do what makes you happy, what you enjoy, and try new things. Find out what you enjoy if you don't know already. Doing that is why I discovered I really like photography. It's why I really like this. It's why I did weight loss. It's everything, essentially. But a lot of people get bogged down by not doing what they want, not doing what genuinely makes them happy. I understand short-term sacrifices to do stuff, well, you get this for money or that. I completely understand that. But a lot of people will do that long-term. Like if I waited until I hit that number, I wouldn't be as happy as I am today. I'd be stuck in a job I dislike. Granted, the people there were absolutely amazing. If any of you are watching this, I'm sure you guys are. I love you guys so much. But the job I hated with a passion. I felt like I was generally wasting my life. I wouldn't contribute anything like I do now. I wouldn't talk to people like I am now with you guys. If one person here, I know I don't get that many views on my podcast or anything, but out of the 30 people who watch it, let's say one person gets genuine enjoyment or just learn something. I've impacted one person's life, probably somebody I don't even know. I would never have that doing something I hated and being miserable. I wouldn't have learned so much about finance or written a book. I wrote a book. I'm 21. Sometimes I sit there, I'm like, fuck, wow, I wrote a book. Learning about finance and budgeting and doing stuff. I have a dream car I love sitting in the driveway. It's something I generally enjoy and love. Granted, yet I'm not in a big fancy house yet, and I'm still young yet. Granted, I still live with my parents and whatnot. But I started a business, and I'm on my way, and I'm doing stuff that I love. Even if it went belly up, I'm still an entrepreneur at heart, and I really connected with that. And I knew that from before, and I knew that now. Finding what I love was like the best thing I could do, and generally helping people. I don't wait to, go out and help the world when I'm, a millionaire or when I hit 30 or whatever. I do that now in whatever small way I can, and then as I grow and you make more money, I'll do that bigger as I grow too. What I do and the way I help people will grow as I do. If not, will grow ahead of me. Hopefully grows ahead of me. That's the goal, at least. So, and that's kind of something I realize now. I wake up every morning and I have a smile on my face. Sometimes I wake up later and I'm like, fuck, I got stuff I got to do today, and I try and run around, but it's always happy. It's always like, I dictate my time. I could be anywhere in the world doing anything with anyone right now, and I choose to be here and doing this, and that's what makes me happy. Really, genuinely and truthfully, that's what makes me happy. So I didn't have to wait till I was financially free to do that. And when I am financially free and I could do this long term when I need to worry about money, I still don't worry about money too much about it in the aspect of doing what I want, because I'm still going to be doing whatever I want. I'm not going to let other people dictate my life or delay genuine gratification until later on in life. Short-term stuff or something like that, that's a different story. But what really makes me happy, what really makes my heart fill and makes my eyes water and puts a big smile on my face, I try and do that every day of my life. And I don't wait to do that. And I think that's something very important. And fixing your finances and fixing your weight and all that, it's important not to get yourself worked up and get so physically upset. A story I'm going to tell you is one that my friends would fucking have told you a long time ago. But it's that of my first like real car. I drove. Well, my family got me for 16. I love my family. It's amazing that I had that opportunity to get a car for my birthday. And it was a 2000 Monte Carlo SS. At present I still have it, and I fucking love the thing to death. But it was recently redone. We had a friend who was a mechanic, and he fixed it up. He did a real good job on it.
More time in the
really
fucking
nice.
shop than anything.
And I drove it, and I loved it, and it was my first car. And taking it in, Dad's like, well, he goes, it doesn't have a security system, why don't you get one installed? And I was like, that's a fucking great idea. And me being me, I went a little overboard with it, of course, and I installed literally everything under the sun that you could by the best security system you could think of. And it has, I'm telling you, I'll sit there, I used to tell my friends, I said, it has settings upon settings upon settings, and I'd spin the little wheel, and it would go through each layer of settings. It had like fucking 5 menus of settings. And you don't need that. It texts my phone if the thing goes off. It would show me where it is in the world, and it's just this amazing thing. And the guy who originally wanted to install it was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be like $2,000 for everything. And I was like, you said what? He's like, oh yeah, with this very complex system. What?
It's a complex system.
So but I ended up buying everything off Amazon and brought it to Best Buy Mobile Install, and they installed everything for me. And they're like, yeah, this is pretty complex. And I hear the guy calling everybody up who was scheduled after me. He goes, nah, I'm sorry, we got to reschedule. Nah, I'm sorry, we got to reschedule. And I sat there for 6 hours. All these guys fucking worked so hard and rewired this whole car. I gave him a nice tip, and I offered him food after the fact. I wasn't leaving him out in the cold. I didn't realize that was such a fucking issue. But it took about 6.5 hours to get that thing installed and set up. And it was amazing. I loved it. Oh yeah, security settings. But every time a fucking strong wind or a blade of grass or something would brush it, it would set the alarm off. And then I'd be in the middle of fucking Spanish class taking a test, and the alarm would go off because a truck drove by 3 miles away and shook the fucking window. So I'd have to go outside and turn the fucking alarm off. And that happened to movies, everything. I'm at work, I parked under a tree, and I never realized the tree had fruit until I parked under that tree, and the fucking fruit, the little tiny grape-looking fruits were...
Just this tree, I don't know what the fuck kind of tree it was. I still don't know. And it had fruit on it out back the restaurant. And out behind the restaurant, it's not a horrible area, but it's not really something I was trusting of. And like every like fucking hour and a half or something, one of these fruit would fall off the tree, hit my car, and set my car alarm off. I'd go out, and I'd look, and I'm like, what the fuck there's nothing here. And it would happen like 2 or 3 times a day. maybe not every hour and a half, but 2 or 3 times a day. And eventually I'm like, what, is somebody doing this to me? I thought I was like one of the workers and they're playing pranks because we'd all fuck around with each other. And eventually I kind of see this fruit. I'm like, why is there a fruit on my windshield wiper? What the fuck's that about? Somebody put a fruit here? What the fuck is this, like a pear? And it was this weird little green fruit. And eventually I realized, hey, asshole, these fruits grow on the tree. Nobody comes and picks the fruit off the tree. How much you want to bet? And sure enough, I seen it one day. The fruit fall, hit the windshield, set my car alarm off. I was like, motherfucker. And since then, I stopped parking under that tree. So that's just a little story for you. I also could tell that this was recorded at the fall off and fucking hit my car and set the alarm off, and then within a couple hours be deteriorated, but I'd be out there the second it falls off, and I realized, oh, hey, this fucking tree has fruit. I never knew that before, and a lot of people didn't know that before because nobody recognizes it, but I would have to realize it after it would fucking set my car alarm off. And I would get so stressed and worked out, and the thing would kill the battery, and it was just fucking a hassle. But I was like, oh, it's for security, and I would get so worked up about it that I don't know if I'd stress that I enjoyed the car less, but I definitely put a damper on how I felt about things. And I got myself so worked up about it, it affected my use and the way I felt about it and the enjoyment I got out of it because I was so worked up. And that's something I feel like a lot of people need to sit back and think when they're making a change or they have something they like. Don't sit there and be physically upset and ruin the thing that you work so hard to get because of some small little issues and get upset about something. It's good to have money and invest it, and it's great, but when you reach that point where you're financially successful and everything's great, don't be afraid just to spend a little bit. Obviously with what you can afford and within reason, but if you see a nice watch that you like for your fucking whole life and you're financially able to afford it, actually afford it, not I could put it on a card and pay for it later, but actually afford it, go out, pay cash for it, and not be worried about the price, then go do it. If you genuinely love something, like I said, and then I used watch as example before negatively, but we're gonna use it positively. Say, since you were a kid, you looked at a magazine and you generally loved this watch, and this whole time in your life you thought when I get big I'm gonna buy this watch, then you should go buy it at that point. But don't just go buy it because it's a status symbol or something that kind of sort of look cool. That's what I'm saying. Generally buy stuff that you enjoy. Like I went and I bought a Corvette. It's something I genuinely enjoy. And even though it wasn't a ridiculous amount of money comparably to what I have that I paid for it, it's something I genuinely enjoy. I wouldn't advise somebody who just kind of thinks it looks cool to go out and buy a car or something, unless it's like, this is my dream car in the same situation that I was before. Genuine enjoyment and something you really makes you happy and serve the function that you want it to serve. That's the goal for it. And just with stress in general, kind of building off that, I now eliminate a lot of stress from my life because a lot of the things are just not important. Oh, this guy cut me off in traffic. Why the fuck do you care? Okay, you cut me off in traffic. Okay, whatever it is. Maybe the guy's got to really be somewhere. Who gives a fuck? As long as I'm not in an accident, as long as it didn't hurt me, as long as it didn't almost fucking cause me and my whole family to get killed. The guy cut me off. Yeah, he's a jerk. Oh well, move on with life. The lady who kicked my car when I was Uber Eating. Okay, I don't care. It is what it is. She didn't dent the car. Nobody got killed. Okay, that's it. I move on. It's kind of a funny story now. I laugh and I tell it to myself. All right, when I tell the story, it's funny. Nothing is super that important. I can't decide what I want to dinner tonight. One person wants Chinese food, one person wants pizza. And you get in an argument. Who gives a genuine flying fuck? It's not that important. It's not going to kill you. It's not infecting you or your family or everything to a severe, serious issue. Oh, so-and-so said something today. Who cares? Why do I care? It doesn't matter. Like at work, and some people, and I love everybody, but some people be like, did you see they changed the bins around? Oh my God, the fucking travesty of changing the bins around. Who gives a genuine flying fuck that the red bin is now before the blue bin? It doesn't matter. It's not that important. Even a lot of like business and stuff related things, if something goes wrong, the website goes down, my picture's not up, the fucking audio won't work. It's important, but not that important that I need to be worked up about. It's important that it's something I need to dedicate attention to and fix, but I look through the snow and not the trees. It's like when a skier, that's the thing. A skier, if they focus on don't hit the tree, don't hit the tree, don't hit the tree, you're focusing on the tree, you're going to hit the tree. If when you're skiing, you go follow the snow, follow the snow, follow the snow, because if there's snow, likely not going to be a tree there. Follow the snow, follow the snow, follow the snow. You're going to follow the snow, and guess what? Stay away from the trees. So focus on your solution, not your problem. And also, don't let things stress you out as much, because 90% of what you do, I'd say maybe 99.9% of what you do, is generally not that important. Somebody's calling you during a movie and it's not a family emergency, don't answer the phone. Who gives a flying fuck? Unless you're a brain surgeon and you're saving people's lives, it is not a life or death emergency. People used to work at Target. I don't know how you can leave and just be so calm. I don't get paid to worry about it when I get home. Who gives a fuck? It doesn't matter. I don't get paid to worry about it at home. It's not work I gotta take home with me, right? Why would I care? I know when I get into it, hey, I'm gonna have a lot of trouble. Okay, worry about it then. Who gives a fuck? I'm gonna come prepared. If I worry about it now or don't worry about it, I'm still gonna have the same amount of work, right? Who gives a shit? That's just that kind of attitude you gotta go with it. You know, I mean, you could die tomorrow. That's the way I look at it. I die tomorrow, I'm gonna worry about this. Really? I'm gonna let something that affected me for 10 seconds affect the rest of my day. I'm wasting more time. Growing up, I thought being rich was just buying cool shit. That's essentially what I thought it was. I thought it was buying fast cars and just having as many video games as you want, and, you know, being able to stay home and relax or do nothing all day. And that's what my stupid, young, naive self was. And now, you know, a little more knowledgeable on it and a little more optimistic. This is, I think, the good word to use about what things are. And I understand that having money and doing stuff with your money is a lot more important. Having that freedom to be able to go do what you want is a lot more important than just buying stuff. And that's something I came through with, like, a big change in my mind. And when I kind of realized that I wasn't actually too old yet, I was probably around, like, you know, 13 to 16-ish, somewhere around there. Because I remember having a conversation with one of my best friends at the time. And I said, they're like, what are your life goals? What do you want to do? And I was like, I want to be rich. I have ideas. I was a big tech person. I'm still in electronics. I still love building things. I wanted to make the world a better place, and I wanted to get rich doing it. You know, that's kind of like, that was my basis. That was the idea of it, you know. That was still one of the peaks of my life, was what I thought was going to happen. Is like, you know, I wanted to get rich, improving the world. And I would talk to people about it, and they're like, yeah, that's what I want to be. And my friends, anytime they would talk to me about their life goals, they're like, well, I want to do this, you know, with a white picket fence and, you know, the whole house and a dog named Spot and a loving family and that's the whole thing they were going for. And they're like, yeah, you know, Joe's going to be off living in the fast life, you know, rich and whatnot. But I never corrected them when they said that, but they couldn't have been more wrong, I feel. Well, maybe a little more wrong, but they could say maybe a little bit more wrong, but yeah, I'm going to get into it now. I'm sure I'm going to explain it, but this is the truth. And something I think even took me a little bit to realize, but this is the reason why. It's not just buying expensive things. It's the freedom and the ability to do things like what I'm about to say. They were very wrong about the idea of why I wanted to be rich. Around that age of 13 to 16, I really connected with the people around me. I kind of understood what I had. You know, ever since a young age, I loved and cared about all the people around me so very much, and I still do to this day. I feel that the people around you are one of the best things you could ever have in your life. And having good, genuine, loving people in your life, people who will go out of their way to do the right thing, and people who will risk life and limb for the connection that they have with you, and just real family people. Real people who, you know, whether they were born into their family or whether you created a family with them, you know, through a friendship or relationship, whatever. That is the real core of a well, successful and a loving life. And that's something I still hold to this value, and that's why I wanted to be rich, because I knew everybody would leave. I knew everybody would go. I knew everything would change one day. And it blows my mind how self-aware my middle school self was. And then, you know, early high school self was. I just knew things wouldn't always be the same. And I wanted to be able to keep them the same. I wanted to have enough money to say, hey, you know, say I have a friend over in California and I'm over in New York, and they're like, hey, listen, you know, we're going to take the kids to Disney this weekend. You know, would you like to come? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. And I could shunt whatever responsibility I needed. And I'd get on a plane, fly over to California and go to Disney with them. You know, and just be able to have that experience. Let distance, time, money, no matter what, never separate us. And I wanted things to stay the same for the longest time.
And when it got to graduation, it was one of the most bittersweet moments of my life. I think that's the best way to put it. And I remember leading up to it, I'd have conversations with my dad, and he's like, listen, you got to live your life. You got to find out what you want to do. Everybody's going to go off and live theirs. You have to, what do you want to do in life? You need to figure that out. And that's what you have to do. You don't worry. People go to go and live their life. You have to go live yours. What do you want to do? And what I wanted to do was be with the people I love. That's the thing, and I couldn't really express that idea to anybody. The way I say it, people didn't understand that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be around the people I love and care about. I wanted to have those memories. I wanted to keep making those experiences. I wanted to be around the people who I have my heart and soul connected to. That's what I wanted. And after graduation, it was cool for a couple months before everybody went off on vacations or they went to school or whatever. And then slowly but surely, you lose contact with some people, and then the people you still do have a contact with, your best friends or the people you see, most often, things they become different. And people grow and people change and things become different. And I know that I fought so hard to just keep things the same. I thought I could just fight and fight and fight and just fight this force of nature, this force of time, everything. I thought I could put, as much effort into it and just keep everything the same and keep everybody together. But at the end of the day, I feel like I was wrong. It's even hard for me to say it now, It's hard for me to admit that I was wrong, that I could do that. That, I could admit I'm wrong with plenty of things, but that's the one thing that my youngest self would fucking hate me for, is saying that I was wrong and being able to keep everything together. My youngest self would tell me that I gave up and I quit and that I should have tried harder and that I should have done more. But at the end of the day, I was wrong for not just believing I was able to do that, in a sense, but that I should do that. There's nothing that said I should be able to stop the lives of the people around me. There's nothing that, I'm sure there could have been things, there could have been conversation that I had. I'm sure if I put every effort into it, some way, somehow, I could have kept everybody together and we would have been together in close proximity doing something. But that wouldn't have been the right thing to do. That I shouldn't have, and luckily I didn't. I didn't do that. I didn't stop everybody from leaving. I didn't stop everybody from following their dreams and building their families and building their careers and doing the things in life that made them happy for my selfish belief that I wanted everybody here. I didn't stop them. And part of me hates me internally for not stopping them, and part of me, the overwhelming part of me, understands and came to a very strong realization when I'm faced with great change for myself, because I had changed and I had to cut off people. I'm going to pause it for a second, and then I want to pause it at a too strong and emotional part, but that's kind of something that I had realized at that moment in time, is that people, I love everybody I've come in contact with, and I genuinely care about people. People is a very big thing with me, and something I really love. And people around me, and I feel that, if I make their lives better, it would trickle and make everybody else's life better, or even if I just made their lives better for a second, I've accomplished something great. Making somebody who's such a great person, who I have such great love for in my heart, I made their life better for even just a second. And I still have that feeling, but knowing that I now have some form of independence and something like, I love business, I love building businesses, I love doing stuff. I'm not just there for that reason. I have my own path. I can then therefore make myself better, and if I make myself better, I can make the people's lives around me better. I have something I'm living for myself too, that benefits everybody else, and the genuine goal of improving the world and the people I love. And just trying to stop them and stopping them from living their dreams or keeping everybody together, it would be counterintuitive to, one, their lives and improving them. I would build, one, such resentment that they would have for me, but then two, it wouldn't be fair and wouldn't be right to do that. I'd be actively harming the people I love and care about by trying to shelter them. Obviously, I go out of my way to try and help people as best I can, but there's sometimes you just gotta let somebody touch the stove on their own. They gotta burn themselves or something that you have no control over. You gotta let them figure that out. You know, there are times definitely even with people who have been really strong situations, I've given them all the love and appreciation, everything that I could, but yet they're still in a bad situation, and sometimes I had to push myself back if they didn't want the help. If they didn't want the help and it was going to harm me, I can't help them if they don't want to help themselves. And two, it shouldn't be that I'm dragging myself down to help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves. I have to let them figure it out on their own. And back then, I even talking about it here at the restaurant, I don't think I would have understood that. Now, going through what I have, and I'm sure getting into a little bit of it there, but more so now, between now and then, I've come to understand that the best way for me to help the people I care about is to help myself, with the goal of also helping other people. I help myself and I build businesses and this, that, and I'm going to love myself and I help myself, but in my heart of hearts, my goal is also to give back and help other people. I'm helping myself help others. That's essentially what it is. I'm going to have to be the catalyst to do that. You know, I want to be the catalyst to do it. I want to help people. Not just have to, I want to. I want to make that very clear for everybody, including myself here. And the best way to do that is by helping myself and helping the world, but then also letting people be what they need to be and experience the things that they need to experience. And that's something I feel that kind of comes with age and experience, is just by doing that. And something that I feel younger me here didn't quite understand to the fullest yet either. But I'm sure, I know for a fact he will eventually. But yeah, that's kind of the situation on that one. It's still got a little bit of time. I'm going to download it because it's not playing. But that is the case, is that it would be wrong for me to stop people, especially coming out of high school. They don't even know who the fuck they are yet. You know, and letting them grow and be who they need to be. And the people who I don't talk to anymore and the people who aren't super close with, I still love and I care about. But like I talked about when I was on the podcast with Johnny, and I had Johnny on the podcast.
I thought...
I'm going to pause it and try and get it to where I was before. You know, we grew apart. We weren't meant to be best friends forever, but the people I am best friends forever with, you know, I'm meant to be friends with them still. There's still people who have a goal similar to mine, or I care about, or they're good people, or the people I just want to be around. Some people I love and I genuinely cared about, and they grew apart from me. Either one, they just have different ambitions, different goals, different things they want to do with their lives, and our paths kind of separated, and that's just how it is. You know, I still talk to them sometimes, I still talk to them on occasion, or maybe I don't, but it's for good reason for it, or people who harm themselves and who want to be away from the good things that I try and push forward and that I try and represent. They don't want the kind of life that I live and are actively against the kind of things that I do. I can't be around that then, because now they're not the person that I love and I care about. They're against everything that I'm trying to do to better myself. If you're going to actively harm me, I can't be around you like that. That's just how it is. I love and I care about myself. And if you're harming me, that's then therefore going to harm the goal and harm all the people I love and harm the world, or at the very least hinder me from helping it in the way that I need to, or the way that I have to, or only the way that I can. So sometimes you grow apart with people, but obviously somebody like Johnny, you know, I'm still friends with him, and we have a common goal, and we do all that. You know, I don't know what the future holds between him, my family, me, anybody else in the world, but I know that right now he's still a very close friend of mine because he's a genuinely good person, and we have a common interest, we have a common goal, we grew together in the right way. A lot of other friends I don't see who maybe aren't small business owners, but they're going to school for biology, and you know, they're up in Tallahassee, they're doing their thing. I still generally love and care about them, and I talk to them all the time, and he's still one of my best friends. Even though we don't have the same kind of business goal, we have a genuine goal to be around the people that we care about and love and grow and progress together, and whatever that means. You know, if he grows to be this amazing biologist or criminal forensic or whatever he's going to be one day, and what I'm going to be one day, we still care about each other, and we still have a common goal about caring about each other and just wanting to be the best that we can. Same thing with, you know, someone who moved down here and now studying business and business now. We have a somewhat similar goal. We could talk about that often, but it's still a genuinely good person that I love being around and wants me to be better, and I want them to be the best that they can be, and we just love growing together. That's why we're still friends. That's how we grew together.
I changed, and I had to cut off people. I had to change the way I do things. I changed the way I live my life.
Continue to change.
That's the whole point of the channel. That's the whole point of everything. The whole point of the mission I'm on is because I made this big improvement, this big change, and I feel that people also need to make these big changes as well.
And change is such a hard thing to swallow because we find comfort in things that are the same. And we don't like things that are different. We don't like switching up. We don't like leaving the people.
I'm not gonna pause it for too long, but I infinitely better, and I love now change for a very, very big degree. Again, as long as it's a positive change, and if there's negative changes, you work with it and you figure out what you can do. And there's no negative thing. That's now opportunity, an opportunity to be better, opportunity to build. If you use change correctly, it's better than it was before. And now that's
people we love. We don't like leaving situations we're comfortable in, and we're happy to go off into the unknown and do God knows what, and maybe fucking fail. We don't like failure. People inherently don't like failure, but we got to learn to love that failure. We got to learn to love that change. And even now, as I'm sitting here, there's a change in my life that I'm struggling to not to make, because it's going to be made for me, whether I like it or not, I feel at this point. But there's a change that I'm having a hard time dealing with. A change of just saying goodbye and moving on to something that it just really, really hurts. And I don't want to make this change, I really don't. But I know it's something that kind of has to happen, and it's time for that. So I kind of find myself understanding that things happen for a reason. And that, that blind optimism I go at every situation with. And, everybody who knows me will tell you that's kind of the way I look at things. And things just kind of happen for a reason. That if you get to say goodbye to something before a big change, or you get to have that last moment, it's a wonderful and joyous thing. And to not spend it being so broken and upset and angry, even though those are the emotions that are coursing through you and the emotions that are coursing through me right this second. And you just hurt. But to look on it with happiness and joy that you got the experience that you did, that you get to say goodbye, that you had the opportunity to learn, to grow better, and that you had the opportunity to be happy. Ultimately, that you had the opportunity to be happy with the thing, the person, the situation, yourself, whatever it is, that you had that opportunity to be happy, and that you cared about something or someone or yourself so much that this change hurts you. And it hurts so much at times, but we have to understand that it all works out for the best, and that whether or not we see it now, and I'm really struggling to see some of this change and how things are going to be better, but I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm trying to get there, and I can understand that in the future things may be different, and this may be the best thing that's ever happened to me. Who knows, But whether we see it or not, we have to be happy for the time that we had and prepared for the future, and that things change for a reason. And if they didn't change, then things would never get better. And the reason why things change is so things can get better. Like now, I cut out the people who I don't talk to too much. I know it's I don't want to start on a negative, but that's something I had to do, was cut out the people I didn't really enjoy talking to. I didn't talk to too often. That it's just the connection we had was good for the time, but it's not there now. It's not going to help us move forward in our lives and progress us, as people. So that's something, in fact, maybe negatively hurt me. I had to cut off a lot of that. People who would, see me have harm before, come upon me, or people who I can't contribute to their lives in the way that they need. So having to separate myself from that. And then the people who I do talk to, my friends, my family, and having them, move hundreds, if not thousands of miles away, and not seeing them every day, not talking to them every day, I had to understand and accept that change, because it forced me specifically to be alone. And I hate being alone. Anybody who knows me knows I hate being alone, in this kind of sense, at least. And that it hurt, but I grew stronger from it. I became the person I am today because of that loneliness. And I either sat and I laid down and died, which was definitely an option I looked at for quite often, or I got up, I picked myself up by my bootstraps, and I did something about it. And I either went out and I found people to be with, or I made that alone time productive, and I was happy with myself, and I made it into something that was, joyous. I had a great time with people when I'm around people, and I have a great time alone when it's just me. And now I'm happier because of it. And I had to understand that things were going to get better, because not only were the people who I cared about, their lives going to get so much better. They got off and they go in and get an education. They're going to have great jobs. They're going to find the loves of their life. They're going to be able to go and make money, and they're going to be able to make new experiences. They're going to travel the world. They're going to do things that staying here and just being here and reliving the same thing over and over again every day just because I wanted them to, they wouldn't have done. So I'm happy that their lives are now going to be infinitely better because they went off and did the normal thing and improved themselves, and they didn't just stay here to humor me, and I try and make them stay here because of my selfishness. And then secondly, things get better in my life, and things got better because of the change. Things change because they're supposed to get better. Generations change because realistically they're supposed to get better. Laws, finance, everything, you're supposed to change and grow and improve, and that change can be scary and that change can hurt, but ultimately it's done so that we can get better, so our situations, so that our experiences can get better. And kind of sitting here, I kind of have to realize that, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be real difficult to go through this. It's not getting, well, it might be getting a little easier, but I have to understand that things are going to get better, and that I should just be happy for the time I had, and so grateful for everything that it's given me, and that this change is going to be an important part of my life. And if I go at it with a positive mind and I try my best, it might be one of the most important changes in my life. It all happens because things are supposed to get better. And yeah, I think that kind of speaks for itself. In that, like a little story behind it. That's when we were going through the restaurant closing, and I remember kind of sitting there looking up. I remember this one very vividly. I'm kind of sitting up with this mic connected to me, recording this audio, and just kind of looking at the Bella Italia sign with tears in my eyes. And it was one of, if not the toughest, I'd say probably the toughest thing I ever had to do, was say goodbye to the restaurant. It was my home. It got me through a lot of pain, a lot of issues. It helped support my family for quite a while, and it was just my home. It was like a happy place for me, and saying goodbye to it was the toughest thing. And I knew then that the change I needed to make, I knew I'd go on to make more money. I knew I'd go on to make more experiences. It wouldn't just be that. I could have seen there, living and being there and managing it, and then growing and being the owner and doing stuff, and that would have been my life there. And especially after leaving college, it's a consideration I made, along with other things like not accepting that change. Sometimes your thoughts, especially younger, being overweight, not exactly having the best luck with the opposite gender, having a lot of love, some people not returning that love, or being misguided, or just not understanding the world, or just being upset, being so passionate about these people around you that you care about, and not wanting things to be different. Some thoughts had gotten drastic, and I've got infinitely better from then, and I've infinitely got better from now. But change is a part of life, and that's something I come to realize, and got a little bit easier. But I still remember crying most nights underneath this restaurant sign, or in the booth, or just sitting there multiple times a night with a Diet Coke or a sandwich or something in my hand, laughing at a video and just talking to myself and to the restaurant, and just really being there and present. And I'm lucky enough I got to say goodbye. It's not like it died in a fire or something, and that's it. I got to say my goodbye, and we left, and we moved on gracefully. We moved on the way I needed to. And I got a new job, and I did stuff and meet new people. I was able to move on what I needed to. I was able to move on the way I needed. And I recognized then, to some degree now more so than ever, that even though things change, there's always going to be a part of you with that. There's always going to be a part of that with you. Both there and with it, and you grow and you learn from it. The restaurant and that experience will be an experience, and the friends, even the people I don't talk to or actively don't talk to, are going to be a part of my life for the rest of my life. It's part of me. It influences who I am and who I am today, and the amazing things I've done. And I've grown a lot since then, and I understand that now, and I know that even though that happens, change is for the better. You look at it and make it an opportunity. I made an opportunity to make more money than I had before. My dad got a job he loves and cares about, and not killing himself at the restaurant. Yeah, I don't have that place to go and hang out and whatnot, but now we don't got to worry about it. We're family-wise in a lot better position. I'm doing a lot better stuff. I found out what I love and I care about, and I'm able to do that full time now. And it just, everything, a lot of great things got better, and blessing in disguise I didn't know before COVID. We were there before, when COVID hit, we might have just lost everything. So you don't really know, you know? And everybody keeps saying that. I'm like, well, I want to say it. I'm like, no, I already know what you're going to say, because usually when you start like that, I got it after the first or second time. I was like, good we left before COVID, right? They're like, yeah, really great. I was like, we were able to sell everything off, this, that. They're like, wow. And like the day after was like fucking COVID hit and the world shut down. You know, the first week I started at Target was basically the week the world fucking tried to halt. And it was crazy. But I know that change now ultimately was for the better, and I miss it every day, and I love the restaurant. And it's always going to be a part of me, but that's something that I definitely have, and that I've grown. I learned that change, when you use it as an opportunity, it's for the better. Not only just for the better, but needed too. It's what makes things move forward. We grow and we evolve. And that's how we get better, is through change. Yeah, that's that one. I have one left. I don't know how long it is. This one was a little longer. Probably my favorite out of all of them, and the one that means the most to me. I haven't listened to it since I recorded it. You know, it means the world to me to know that and hear that, and that. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Wealth Not Weight. I'm your host, as always, Joseph Coizza, and what I'll do is maybe a little less than doing what a lot of people enjoy. But I'm not going to completely change what I'm doing. I'm not going to completely rework myself or get myself all worked up because of what other people think or what I think other people would want from me. I do what I love, and I love what I do. That's essentially the story of it. Anything I do with 110% because I love doing it and I want to do it. And that's what you have to do with everything. If you don't love your job... Yeah, well, that one's a video from the restaurant. But yeah, that's kind of, I think that's actually the last one. The other one is actually audio from recording. I didn't even realize. And that one, I think, so ceremoniously ended up being the last one that we did. So, yeah, I think that's, you know, it still gives you a lot of perspective and gives me chills to know and hear about it. And it means a lot to me to hear that, know I've grown since then. And the emotion I had was just very, very real for it then. The love and the passion I had for the restaurant, knowing that things in fact did get better, and that when you use change correctly as an opportunity, things will always get better. That having that hope and that love in my heart, I think is generally what guides me and what helps me even still to this day. So, if you guys like this podcast, if you had any questions for me, or just, you know, if you guys enjoyed this, if you learned something, really anything, make sure to talk about it in the comments below. And if you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all next time.